What is the order of growth of runtime of find from midpoint in terms of n? So to start off, in terms of n, the order of growth would be theta of n squared. The reason being is that for our outer loop, which is a for loop, it's going to run linear times. It is always going to run until n minus 1, regardless of the case. However, we do have a inner loop as well, the while loop, and that the amount of times that runs depends on n. And just to clarify, this is going to run theta n times in the outer loop. However, once we get to the inner loop, it's going to keep on running until I is equivalent to x. The initial value of I is n divided by 2, and in each iteration, I can either increment or decrement. For example, if I is greater than x, it'll decrement by 1. If I is less than x, it'll increment by 1 until I is equivalent to x. So the number of iterations of the inner loop depends on the distance between I and x. In the worst case scenario, when x is either 0 or n minus 1, the inner loop may iterate up to n divided by 2 times. However, in the best case scenario, when x is close to n minus 2, or n divided by 2, the inner loop can iterate a fewer times. However, since in the worst case scenario we're interested in the upper bound, which is big O of n divided by 2 for the inner loop, we can combine both loops, the outer loop and the inner loop, and see that the outer loop runs n times and the inner loop runs O of n times in the worst case. When you consider these two terms together, the overall time complexity is theta n squared.